to do a short car vlog about the Confederate flag. I've been thinking about this issue for a while now. Where to begin? I am a direct descendant of Richard Henry Lee, who wrote the Lee Proclamation or Lee Declaration. It basically was a precursor to the Declaration of Independence, and he is a signer of the Declaration of Independence. I'm also a cousin of Robert E. Lee, General Robert E. Lee. So, stuff regarding the South and that whole Civil War history and the founding of the United States, Bill of Rights issues like Second Amendment issues really strike a chord with me, and they're really on the forefront of my political radar. But with that said, to quote, it's not a direct quote, but Robert E. Lee himself, after the war ended, said that the Confederate flag had no place in modern society. The South lost. It just makes no sense to fly a Confederate flag as a state flag, as a public office flag on a Capitol building, in no public space aside from museums and graveyards that are specifically for Civil War history. Does it make sense to fly the Confederate flag? It's a dead, I don't know, what would you call it? A dead nation that never really came to fruition. You can make all the arguments you want about how both the North and South had slaves at the time during the Civil War. The Emancipation Proclamation only freed the slaves in the South, and that was before the war ended. What the North did was they offered slaves a chance for freedom and I think some land and money if they fought for the North during the Civil War. So there were black infantry brigades and servicemen fighting for the North during the Civil War. There were people in the Confederacy who thought that maybe they should do something similar and have, I don't know, slave or black units that of free men, well, and slaves. I'm not exactly sure what the mix was, but that was quickly shot down by the more racist leaders of the Confederacy. So really, I don't know, you can make all the arguments you want. Back at that period of time, people just had a very different mindset about race, ethnicity, culture, and all those issues. So when Southerners try to go colorblind on the topic and argue that it was purely about economics, which for the large portion of it back then, if you think in that mindset of, okay, both the North and South had slaves, really it boiled down to an economic issue. Yeah, I'll grant you that. But but the South lost. There is no Confederacy. There is no nation. So when you consider the fact that the history of that flag since the loss of the Civil War has been tied to racist activity, the few rebellious stragglers who did things like assassinate President Lincoln were doing so to just, I don't know, have an insidious, destructive plan for the United States' future. It was just really sickening. And much of those same people are the ones, the Southern Democrats, the Dixiecrats, are the ones who are passing laws saying that blacks can't own guns and just generally making life hell for blacks in general. So, and that continued for over 100 years after the war ended. So yeah, as a direct descendant of the people involved, that flag has no place in the public sphere. If you want to be a jackass and fly it on your pickup truck or fly it on your home and look like a racist dickhead, that's your prerogative, but I don't know. That's not the South that I would want to celebrate and represent. There's just too much baggage. It's not the same thing as the swastika. The swastika was used for thousands of years by all kinds of different cultures as a symbol of peace, prosperity, and spirituality. So it's not a valid comparison. It's not worth supporting. So, just my thoughts. I mean, hey, I love the South. I've got a lot of family still down there. That's where I'm from, but it makes no sense to to bother. Take it down from Capitol buildings. I don't support the young woman that climbed up and ripped it down herself. And anybody supporting that kind of vandalism and sabotaging and defacing monuments and shit like that, that's not cool. But the flag itself, no, just don't even go there. So, just my thoughts. Hope you guys understand and get a little insight.
West Coast.